This is the story of the last ever land raid in Scotland. This is the story of the 7 men of Knoydart. If you've never heard of Knoydart before, it's a peninsula in the Western Highlands of Scotland in an area known as the Roughbounds. There are no roads into Knoydart, and if you want to get there, it's either a 17-mile hike across rugged terrain or a 7-mile boat trip. Only around 150 people live here, and this difficult access means that it's sometimes referred to as the last wilderness of Scotland. It wasn't always like this, however, as pre-Highland clearances, over 1,000 people used to live here before they were forcibly cleared from their land for sheep and later hunting and shooting. And it was with this backdrop that the last land raid of Scotland commenced. Knoydart used to be owned by Lord Brocket, a Conservative Member of Parliament and a known Nazi sympathiser. Lord Brocket only ever used Knoydart for shooting and fishing, whilst being vocally against Crofts' rights and often evicting workers. He was so known as a Nazi sympathiser, having often hosted supporters of Nazi Germany on his estates, that his estates were seized during the Second World War. After World War II ended, his estates were returned, and in 1948, 7 Highland soldiers returning from the war decided that they had enough of the way that he ran his estates and evoked the Land Settlement Act, which allowed returning servicemen to take over land which was underused. They marked out 65 acres of arable land and 10,000 acres of hilly land and took it into their possession. Lord Brocket then took them to court, and as legal action ensued, as a measure of good faith, the men agreed to vacate the land whilst the court proceedings continued. However, when they left the land, it was claimed that they were dispossessed, and they eventually lost their case. In Inverary in 1991, a cairn was erected here to commemorate the 7 men of Knoydart with the inscription Justice. In 1948, near this cairn, the 7 men of Knoydart staked claims to ensure a place to live and work. For over a century, Highlanders have been forced to use land raids to gain a foothold where their forebears lived. Their struggle should inspire each new generation of Scots to gain such rights by just laws. History will judge harshly the oppressive laws that have led to the virtual extinction of a unique culture from this beautiful place. Their actions were not in vain, however, as the community of Knoydart bought over the majority of the land here 25 years ago, and it is now absolutely thriving.